Hi, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create the stone art clay. So because the particular project that I'm about to do is a stone art fox, I have already mixed up the power text in the colour tones that I require. But basically the idea and how to go about it is exactly the same no matter what. So this is a standard video for creating stone art clay. Okay, so I'm going to take a pot. I'm going to use a pot to mix my stone art clay in, a paddle to mix it with, a pair of gloves, some plastic bags to put the clay in when it's made, and then I've got my power text here in this pot here that I've already mixed in the colour I want, and then I've got my pot here for my stone art. Now I obviously buy my stone art in a great big 2 kilo packet, so I tend to decant it in a bucket so that I can weigh it out easily. So I'm just going to put my scales on, and I'm going to weigh up to about 250 grams of stone art powder. It is quite dusty, so be warned, if you have any kind of respiratory problems, you might want to wear a mask. I don't have any issue with that kind of thing, so I'm absolutely fine with it. So there we go, I've weighed up 250 grams. That just gives me a rough idea of how much I'm using. And then I can move my scales out of the way for a minute. Actually, no, I can't. Let's pop this one on here. And we'll put, I'm going to put my gloves on straight away. I tend to put my gloves on at the beginning of making stone art, but not at the end, and not when I'm actually using stone art. But this first bit is pretty messy, so I'm going to use my gloves for that. So in this pot here, I'm going to weigh up 250 grams of this coloured power text that I've mixed up. So we're nearly there, 230, 240, here we go. So just wipe that round, like so. Pop the lid on. I'm only just going to make the one lot up, and then I'll off camera make the rest up. So I'm going to take the stone art powder now, and I'm going to sprinkle it across the top like so, and then pick up my wooden paddle, and I'm just gently going to mix that together. Go a bit gentle at the beginning, because obviously you've got a sloppy mess at the bottom and all this powder at the top, and we don't really want to sort of make it go everywhere. I'm working in a little boot tray here, and that just helps me be able to pick up the powder that's left over and put it back in the stone art pot. Okay, so that's the first bit in. Now we're going to put the second bit in. So we'll push that in there like that. And then often what I do is I draw this tool through, and that exposes all of the moist bits. So if you draw it through the what's starting to become a clay. So bring that through like that. And again with this tray I can just, so by drawing it through I'm exposing all those wet areas. Okay, you can see it starting to come up in a clumpy bit like that. It's still very sticky at this stage, so I'm just going to squidge that off of my, and grab some, if I had some of this dry on the top I'd be able to get it off a bit easier. There we go, just pull that off there. I'm a bit mean, I don't like to waste anything. So I've pulled that all off of there. And then what I'm going to do, I was going to gradually add more powder and sort of knead it in. Sort of pick it up and knead it in like that. Keep going, keep kneading it together. And it will get thicker and less sticky as you're working with it. Bits that are leaping out, just pick them back up. Okay, so it's a bit, at this point, a bit like kneading bread. Okay, right, so that's looking quite stiff now. So I'm going to try and bring it all together and bring it out of this pot and onto this board. I don't ever make more than about 250 grams worth of Peltex and Stone Art clay together up, because it's too much to manhandle basically. So I'm just scraping all this out of the bottom here, like so. I'm popping that onto this board. There we go. I'll move that out of the way, and then I'm going to gather this up and knead it together. Now it's feeling quite sticky at the minute, so I'm just going to put some down on my board and knead it together. It really is just like kneading bread or pastry or icing, whatever is your thing that you mostly do. There we go. So that's getting quite stiff now. You can probably hear it in my voice that I'm straining with the strenuousness of it. There we go. So really knead that in. And then what you want to do, in order to make sure that it's fully incorporated, you have to break it apart and make sure that you don't have any white bits. So at the moment we've got, if I take this to the camera a bit more, sorry, too far, my apologies, here we go, you can see there's white bits at the minute. So we need to keep kneading until those white bits are gone. You just keep kneading it. You can hear it sticking on my gloves, and obviously because I'm using quite a strong coloured piece, you can see the colour on my board. If it's a nylon board, it'll all wash off. So break the Stone Art clay, make sure there's no more white bits, and if there are, give it a bit more of a knead. You can, you can definitely hear it's a workout. So if you've got any frustrations, I suggest you make yourself some Stone Art clay. That'll get rid of them. Okay, a couple more, and I think we're going to call that done. A couple more, here we go. There's not really any bits left now. Okay, so I'm going to give it one more knead, and then what you need to do is you need to wrap it a couple of times into some plastic. And then I personally store mine in a lock and lock box. So I just grab a couple of bits of plastic. These plastic bags, freezer bags will do. Squeeze all the air out and into another one. And then I'm going to pop that, really get as much air out as possible. I'm going to pop that into a lock and lock box, or you know, any kind of Tupperware box that's got a really good tight fitting lid, and it should keep a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It very rarely has enough time for me to well, leave it that long, quite frankly. I tend to make it up for whatever it is I'm doing and then use it. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I will come back to you in the next section of the video. Thanks very much. Bye.